for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Raypower FM. My name is Chairman. We'll be going through some news reports with the analysis. Yes, it's the analysis that makes the difference. I know here we'll break them down into units. Tell you what is the component of each unit. Tell you the functions of each unit, and tell you about the relationship between the units. In that way, you have a good comprehension, understanding of issues that happen in the politics. Be it politics, which is our primary responsibility. We have the economy, you have social, we have legal. And my colleagues are here with me. David will be joined by Abulo Senwabu. Of course, on this program, we prioritize development over politics. Yes, we'll come to politics. ADC crisis getting worse as it were. Federal government insisting that should be primary, even before development, security. Insisting that Nigeria is safe after the US has withdrawn non-essential staff at this embassy. As continued attacks of military formation in the north continue. Federal government says Nigeria is safe as US withdraws non-essential staff. But the World Bank, in its latest report, is telling us that poverty in Nigeria keeps rising. Yes, gentlemen, record I said, if you allow me, I'll throw away this deceptive, outdated, secondary socioeconomic indices of GDP, blah, 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 name that, to issues that affect you as an individual, because GDP is talking about the economy. Gross national product is talking about the economy. Inflation is talking about the economy. But poverty is talking about you as an individual. We have seen our governments devote undue attention to the economy rather than the individual units. It's individual units that make the economy. So when I see, and we see poverty rate, according to the World Bank, increase in Nigeria, it tells us one thing, gentlemen, that we have been wasting our time running around in a circle, thinking we are making progress. What is the essence of governance when people are moving into poverty? Citizens, instead, other countries are pulling them out of poverty while we are pushing them into poverty. 63% is the latest figure for 2025 by the World Bank.
Amici, good morning. Good morning, my colleagues, and good morning, TV. Good morning, listener and viewer on YouTube. Before 2025, when Jonathan rebased the economy, before 2015, where President Goodluck Jonathan rebased the economy, the macroeconomics was doing well, and the micro was also doing relatively well. And then the minimum wage was around 30,000 naira, 18,000 naira, I would say. It was Buhari that raised it to 30,000 naira, and President Tinubu now raised it to 70,000 naira. But Amici, if you go and ask a worker what is the value of that minimum wage today, it has been watered down. Yes, kudos to the Nigerian government for bringing down inflation. Inflation dropped between December and now, and food inflation dropped to around 10% from around 34%. That's a good news to hear, but that's for the macroeconomy. Now, what did the World Bank highlight? The World Bank said, fine, the inflation is going down. Yes, fine, that's a good one. But if
the economy will grow by over 4%.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, the economy is growing. The governors have big money from FAC they share. Local government have big money from FAC they share. But when you look at the primary GP, according to the TC president yesterday, he gave analysis. When the primary GP you bought 70 million about 5 years ago, you are buying it for 200 million. Is not penny wise, pounds foolish? Are you not insulting yourself? Now, the World Bank highlighted that yes, the services sector is doing very well. The platform economy is thriving, is doing very well. But the major problem increasing the poverty rate is that agriculture is not being invested upon because of certain issues which were obvious to us. Insecurity has driven people away from home. People have found cassava they cannot harvest. And they also talk about infrastructure and manufacturing is not there. So those are the issues that are increasing the poverty rate. When you have 140 million persons in poverty, not say middle class or say semi-middle class, these are crass poverty. They cannot feed.
Wretched of the
The poorest of the poor. Those are 140 million out of 240 million Nigerians or thereabout. So, but some of us don't even agree with these statistics, Amici. Poverty smells, even in Asokoro here. Poverty is smelling, it's around, you can see it. So
in the squalor settlements around Asokoro.
You have less than 12 million Nigerians that are in public offices, that are civil servants, both local government, state, and federal government. Less than 12 million. So even the World Bank, I'm faulting the World Bank report launched yesterday. Are they really certain that it's just 140 million in poverty?
You think he's more?
Yeah, I think we are more.
We
are more. You and I, are we very rich, Amechi?
Amechi, good morning listener. You see, the World Bank, they will tell you what you want to hear. And then, as you are listening to it, they will be telling you something else at the same time. They will tell you, remove subsidy, do this, do that. If it's automatic currency, automatic reset of the economy, autopilot, the thing will just be running and you do it. You won't see the kind of results that they're talking about. And then they'll come and start telling you, see, you have to do safety nets, you have to do there's poverty here and there.
So they know it will generate poverty.
They know. But in that same report, we've also seen them talked about which gladdens my heart, that the Nigerian economy, that it has expansionist tendencies, and that despite the Middle East war, despite all of that, the growth rate will still projected at 4% or thereabout, and that is resilient. That Nigerians, are doing all the production is the elements of production are still, at the level that they were, and most probably will expand. What Nigerians are not getting is that role the government is supposed to play in a country. That is not there. And that is the problem we have with leadership. When they're out of government, they will say all sorts of sweet, good things. They will tell you, all of them. But by the time they get in there, I don't know what they see in National Rock or in the government houses or in the National Assembly or in the State House of Assembly, in local government. I don't know when they go to those offices, what they see. But what the Nigerian people need, basically, is that support. And the WTOD...
And the support can only come from government.
They can't run away from it. When they tell you government has no business with business, that government has a role to play. And what are we talking about here? The social services, social safety net.
If it exists,
that's a thing.
It doesn't exist.
This poverty we're talking about, families have been driven into poverty because of cost of food, cost of healthcare. There are hardly families today that you don't have, or you see people with almost terminal illnesses, and all of that. Everybody's resources are put into that. Schools, practically everything. In Abuja, when you drive, you see, development houses and all of that. Go in there and ask those people. Those people are contributing money to construct roads. They are contributing money to take electricity, water, their security, and practically everything. And so you ask, that's what the other man from Ogun State wrote us the other day. I was asking
the 74-year-old pensioner.
Even
at 74.
Yeah,
if you're in US, once you're 65, your term is senior citizen. That is when the state responsibility over you multiplies manyfold. If you're entering bus, you're given priority. The first seats are meant for senior citizens and those that are fiscally challenged. If there's any money to be paid, healthcare, you have 100% insurance coverage. 100% insurance coverage. Wherever you go to, whenever you meet the government, they're giving you something in your old age. In Nigeria, it's a 4-year-old in Ogun State wrote to us, telling us that 74, Nigeria is still pursuing him, trying to get the little pension. Taxing him, contributing to build road, put electricity.
That's the issue. Government needs to play its role. We're not saying come and run companies because they have failed in doing that. We're not saying come and do, but the basic, by the time you take care of health, you take care of, you support agriculture, there is food, you support all these people that are Japan and all of. Well, most of them went on scholarship. How many scholarships? The most state government would say is bursary. We don't have scholarships. Basically, maybe one or few. We don't have those scholarships.
Okay,
So everybody is,
because we have other issues to deal with.
Quickly,
We have to make progress.
just
Our
quickly,
governments. Okay.
yeah, just quickly, it's what the Nigerian government will do with this report that is also very important. And when you talk about
They'll fling it
now,
out through the window.
now when looted funds are being repatriated, when looted funds are being repatriated, there's a condition that you must have an NGO to monitor, and this repatriated fund must go to the poorest of the poor. Now, once the World Bank say remove subsidy, they also give you palliative measures. They also give you how to cushion the effect of that removal. Is the Nigerian government implementing it?
That was
Nigeria is highly governmentized. If you accept that word, I mean in your book, next book, Nigeria is highly governmentized. What do I mean? Most things will not be done if government hand is not there.
Now, Tede, recall, we told the present administration that we have looked around the world. Everybody that looked towards the Bretton Woods institutions and adopted their policies. Rationalize the workforce. Float your currency. Remove subsidies. No country of the world has ever come out better. All of them have come out worse. And it is happening to the Tinubu administration. The level of poverty in Nigeria, he has increased it. Why? And we stated it clearly. We put our reputation down and said, these policies will generate poverty. These policies will generate hardship for the people. But you see some macroeconomic improvements. I said you can only see it, but you cannot feel it. The economy will appear to be good, while the people will suffer. And that is what we are getting up to today. And it's food for thought. If they want to stop where they are going to and make a U-turn, it's a wrong step in the wrong direction. Look at the Asiatics. Look at the South American countries. All of them that found themselves in this trap, Bretton Woods institutions misled them. Those that have made progress looked inward, looked for unique policies and solutions that will really target the people. If you talk about development, it's all about the people. When you focus on the people, you get, if you ask the president to tell you, I've increased and multiplied money they are sharing.
Let's help them.
Yes, it has increased, but what's the how are they spending the money? Look at the Federal Fire Service Controller General. Yes. Look at his convoy.
Now, let's help us. Now, you say people-centered policies. How should government approach these policies to benefit the people? They've told us they are creating CNG to cut down the cost of fueling your vehicle, and they're providing 100 buses. Do you have the infrastructure for the CNG? Yes, it's a laudable project to ease. I was taking a commercial taxi, and the guy told me, because he's using PMS, that is why it's this high. If he was using CNG, probably the cost will reduce. I said, fine. Okay, so where's the infrastructure?
Sorry, we have to latch on to the next one. We're out of time now. ADC crisis. Nafi Ubala's group. I saw the House of Rep member Abejide. The 24 hours after the Big Mac people protested at the front of INEC headquarters. They also protested saying, we are the rightful faction of ADC and courts. Injunctions are coming in Adamawa State, Yola. It stopped the state from planning and continue with the Congress, ADC. So the ADC situation is getting messier.
Maybe today we will see the NEC, the third faction, also go on their protest.
Thank you. I was trying to.
The state chair, some of the state chairmen
that people.
You know, and all of that. But it's actually a sad commentary. Nobody wishes that opposition would be in this kind of disarray close to elections as it were, because it has a rub-on effect on any country's democracy. But it's where we are. The good thing is David Mark has taken the right decision, which is what the North people have been advocating. Go to court.
And there's approach to order INEC to recognize it.
Which is what they should have done long time ago, even before they went to court.
I hope they will hear that matter.
If you, by the time you file with motion for accelerated hearing,
When PDP's case, they sought for accelerated hearing, they got it. It took the appeal court more than 6 months to constitute a panel. That's what I'm saying. Some say it's part of the gimmick. Finally, now it will be there, waiting to be assigned. It's only when the chief judge assigns it that the judge will now fix a date and hear you.
Yeah, exactly. I will hope that you don't. I was also going to say that INEC should know, and the judiciary should also know that their reputations are at stake. When it comes to issues like this, whatever it is, that case or similar cases need to be assigned so that people will do. And when also INEC, what should be their concern is how to restore confidence into the electoral process. Any action they will take or not take that will make, because it's useless. You could spend all the money, you do election, and on that day it's only your electoral officers that are the polling unit. People don't.
And it spells danger.
It's a huge problem, and so that is what INEC chairman should be focusing on, not advising media. He should focus on him.
No, he has the right to advise the media.
We're also advising him
that the credibility of INEC has been thrown to the dogs.
If I were him, I will even concentrate more on building the confidence of people in the process than any other thing at all. So they should be very careful whatever action they take or whatever action they don't take, and how it will affect.
The discussion in session of the public is that there are too many desperate persons in the ADC, and they should put their hands together first if they must resolve their internal wrangling. Is it true? Who wants to become presidential aspirant candidate for the ADC? It's not yet decided. Maybe what they should do is to be pushing somebody or two persons so that the other groups will know, oh, fine. Abachide has said clearly that he's supporting President Tinubu, although he's in ADC. And he's been accused of putting one leg in one party. And he said, are there no other politicians doing the same thing? So we go ahead for them.
Political polygamy. Let's hear from Shira.
Yes.
Do you have the mails?
Yes, I do.
Will you go into polygamy or?
Democracy thrives on strength and vitality of opposition politics. It was this very force that propelled Bola Ahmed Tinubu into political prominence, and it must not be allowed to fade under his watch. This is therefore deeply ironic that one who once persistently clamored for a people-centered government appears to have adopted a combative posture towards the same people. There is a growing perception that a machinery has been activated to stifle opposition politics, allegedly deploying moles and state institutions to undermine dissent. And also from Abuja, Noble Collins is saying, permit me to use this medium to let politicians who may be counting on the unpopular Nigeria politicians' model of winning elections to know that even the typical King Solomon's wisdom model can fail anyone who just opts to replicate it without being inspired by God, who inspired Solomon. It actually happened thus. A primary school teacher reportedly confronted two of her pupils fighting over a pencil, with each of the pupils claiming to be the owner of the pencil. And just like in the King Solomon scenario of two women claiming to be the real mother of a newborn baby. The Solomon wisdom in settling the women's case then hit the teacher, and she faced the two pupils and was like, since both of you are claiming to be the owner of this pencil respectively, I will have to break it so that each of you will go with half of the pencil. Is that okay by you? And to the teacher's surprise, the two pupils excitedly chorused, yes, auntie, break it. Unlike in King Solomon's scenario whereby a similar question revealed who the true mother of the contested new baby was. Nonetheless, that was how my French teacher realized the real meaning of the phrase, you dey whine me, as some folks would ask in our local dialect. Just the way so many Riga Nigerian politicians would understand the meaning of that particular phrase when they realized too late in 2027 election that their old scheme of winning the elections can no longer work under the watch of Nigerian electorates that are determined to ensure that their votes count. From Adamawa State, Erioto Noel is saying, yesterday's analysis with the duo of Dr. Mechi and Chooks was indeed very interesting. I never knew Chooks had such strong analytical voice. The other time you invited Nancy Inaji, I was equally impressed. This goes to show that the Dar family is truly blessed. On the areas of our politics, I have ordered my truckload of popcorn in readiness of the interesting times ahead. May God bless Nigeria. And Ugochukwu Godwin from Lagos is saying the unfortunate attack that led to the death of Brigadier General Hussein and some soldiers by terrorists in Borno should make the country declare a day of mourning. This kind of steady attack was what made us to postpone election in 2015. The attackers are getting emboldened, even with the US military presence. Almost every election cycle, there is a wave of killing and attack. The police keep recruiting thousands of personnel every year, but keep posting them in urban centers and roads to collect egunje. No one wants to be posted to rural communities. There are some local government areas with a good police station. The viral video that soldiers buy their uniform should be investigated. We budgeted over 2 billion naira for uniform. The military always have the highest allocation. In 2026, 1.5 trillion was allocated to them. What are these money used for? We should enhance our regional security network and community-based intelligence because there are several operations declared without measurable additional personnel and equipment. Army should ensure rapid coordination during critical events. That is how far we can go on the news segment. Keep sending in your mails to politicalplatform@dargroup.com.
Thank you so much for the mails. Okay, let's quickly go to Borno State, where the president is mourning the death of a brigadier general and several other soldiers after they were ambushed by Boko Haram terrorists and killed. A statement from the defense ministry said several of the attackers, the terrorists, were killed, they were repelled, and all that. This is not the first time a senior officer will be killed. This is the second brigadier general. There has been a major and a lieutenant colonel, so there's an upsurge of attack. I think the highest rank officer we have lost was that very popular lieutenant colonel, the one that was
Recently.
no, yes, recently we had this upsurge in killing. So the president commiserating and commending the officers that paid the supreme price and has to the family. Sometimes we forget what they're putting in these areas. That we are here speaking freely. Many of them are talking in trenches over a hail of bullets and mortars and what have you. But there are lessons to be learned, definitely. It appears our approach is to contain, hold positions. Where are these terrorists coming from? Can't we change our can't we take the fight to them and put them on the run?
There are people that have argued that we should stop limiting the extent of the insurgency to either farmer clashes in Benue or people trying to rustle cows in Zamfara or what have you. Let's call it what it is, terrorism. And how do you tackle terrorism? You need international support. And we have been saying it. You are not here 2 days ago when I anchored. I said in the last count, the president has assured that there's connection with France, connection with Turkey, with the UK, and the US boot on the ground here and some equipment. How far so far with the collaboration with the Nigerian security agencies? Could it be that there's a disconnect? Because the attack on senior military officials is too much. It's the number is as outrageous, and not talk about the civilians that were killed the other time in Rukuba. So the Nigerian government need to also help the citizens by telling us what collaboration they have.
Okay.
Yes, so that we will have this level of confidence that yes, we have foreign assistance and what have you.
Our hearts actually go out to those bereaved families. It's a sad one yet again, for the country, and except it comes very close to you, you may not understand the impact of what it is. My maternal grandfather was in the forces. He died barely when I was 10. He fought the Nigerian Civil War. And when I was driving to the office this morning, I was telling myself he had died in that war. Most probably I would not have known him, he would not have seen me as it were. And that is a picture that was running through my head about the Brigadier General and the others. It was actually an attack on their camp, a brigade. Brigade headquarters as it were. A very sad one. And there are several reports about it, how he was trying to mobilize the only manageable among personnel carrier. These are reports that are there. I would expect that the military headquarters will come out and tell us the truth. Because when these things happen, we just mourn and then everybody
Wait for the next one.
everybody goes home. And then it happens. For you to tell me that in the whole brigade, there was one armored personnel carrier.
No, it may not be one.
That was manageable.
The report may not be correct.
Manageable.
It's not verified.
That's why I said they need to come out, and say what the true position is. And that the CCTV camera that they have at the perimeter and all of that were also limited. They are not laser CCTV cameras. And then you ask yourself, what actually are we doing?
Now, that's it.
Actually, are
you know
we
what
doing?
a brigade is? After you have
division,
a company, a battalion, and a brigade. So about 4 or 5 brigades make up a division, and a brigadier general commands a brigade. Now, that's a huge military formation, military facility. Now, what intelligence area are we getting as they are mass? They didn't come out from the earth. They didn't fall from the sky. They mobilized. They mobilized.
And there's an informant among the Nigerian military.
We detect this.
There are persons leaking information.
This is a battle war zone. Don't we have the capacity to have an eye over the sky
There are
to
persons
see this
leaking.
maneuvering? When they are mobilizing and moving, don't we have the capacity to detect?
Satellite imagery.
Where
yes.
was the Air Force? Was there any reinforcement? We are not
Several
soldiers,
plans
and there are so many questions to ask.
And is it
If I have enemies, I know they are mobilizing. I will not allow them to mobilize. I'll stop that mobilizing. Because to attack a brigade, you need to amass in quantity, both boots on the ground and equipment. So didn't we have the intelligence to notice this and nip it in the bud, or send reinforcements to back up, or even do area support?
I expect that the CNC will not just mourn, like all of us are mourning. He will also, pay close attention to an investigation into, so that we are preventing the other brigadier general that died, and all of that. They said they were investigating. Nobody has heard anything about what has happened. It may happen again. We need to investigate this. I've always said it. All these people that sit in Abuja in the comfort of their air condition, and all that, when the president say relocate, they just fly in and fly out and all of. We have a problem on our hands. The president needs to take a closer look at it
and take radical, decisive action.
When these guys are getting the highest chunk of the national budget, and then the chief of defense will come and tell me security is everybody's business. It's not my business, CDC. It's your business. Where you are paid for it.
No,
you are giving the money to do that. You are giving the money to do that.
We follow.
But those of them who are collecting the money for the security,
they are the first to be
you
held to account.
You should do their job.
People
should be held account for this. This is somebody's father.
Now, this shouldn't go down as the other one. So we mourn, they are buried, and we go on. It presents yet another of the numerous opportunities in the past to ask ourselves, how are we prosecuting this war? What are we putting in? And how do we take back our country? It shouldn't just come and pass, waka pass. We'll seize this opportunity and ask critical questions that will lead to enormous radical actions being taken. Because it appears to have normalized insecurity. I was just thinking when I was driving to the office, when America tells you, pull out your essentials, non-essential staff, because there are threats, our government says, no, don't worry, everything is okay. Everything is okay. Can the gentleman saying it come to me and I'll drive him from here to Zamfara, Guzo? In my car, free. I'll accommodate you. Drive you from here to Port Harcourt.
Even in his own state, let him go on and
drive you from here to Lagos by road. If you can do that, I can show you my car is good enough. It may not be the model up to date, but it will not break down on the road. And it's air conditioned. I can take you there. If you agree to do that, then I accept that things are normal. We have normalized that when just stay safe in one part of the city, avoid the periphery, and we're okay with that. We are okay with, oh, if you can't travel by road, why don't you fly? Why don't you go with
And then they're celebrating increase in air traffic.
We have normalized insecurity. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, these places that are talking about in Medugri and Yobe, Abulu, who were driving, 2003, 2004, we drive from Abuja,
to
go
Zamfara,
to Jos, go to Bauchi, go to Portisco, go to I've been driving from here to Funtua for pleasure and come back. Me, I'm as young as I am, in my early 50s. Now, we will drive up through Medugri, to Bama, to Karanaboda. We drove to all these places. That was when things were normalized. We were taking night bus. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, a kind of leisure to go on a night journey. Today, if you complete a road travel of more than 200 kilometers in Nigeria, you go and give Thanksgiving. But the government will tell you, don't worry, everything is normal.
But Doctor,
they have normalized insecurity.
What do you expect the government to say? The Minister of Information is doing this.
I don't expect them.
Because
let them take action.
If he shakes,
we have to go now.
If he shakes, he's giving power to the insurgents.
Well, join us today. Have a good time.